Hey guys, NowBeing19 here with my review for episode 4 of Arrow. Now as usual, I'm going to give you a recap, give you my overall rating, what I liked about this episode, along with top 5 moments. So, starting with the recap, Nyssa Ghul returns to Starling City looking for Sarah. Oliver informs her that Sarah was killed. Oliver sends Roy to follow Nyssa after it is clear that she knows more about who could have killed Sarah. Nyssa is tracked to Sarah's old safe house, where Nyssa reveals to Oliver that Malcolm Merlyn is alive and Sarah was sent by the League to confirm his existence. After tracking Malcolm, Oliver agrees to meet him in a public location to discuss Sarah's death. Malcolm tells Oliver that he did not kill Sarah, but only returned to Starling City to take care of Thea. Nyssa kidnaps Thea in an attempt to draw Malcolm out, but Oliver arrives to rescue Thea. Malcolm arrives shortly after to clear his name and insinuates to Nyssa that it was her father, Ra's al Ghul, that had killed Sarah. Nyssa doesn't believe him, but Oliver does and vows to protect Malcolm for as long as he is in Starling. Nyssa warns Oliver that he has made an enemy in the League before leaving and reporting back to her father. In the flashbacks, Oliver completes his first kill and learns that Amanda Waller was behind Edward Fire's actions on the island. So overall, I'm giving this episode a 10. By far, it was my favorite episode in this entire season. We got Nyssa, we got Thea, Merlyn, Merlyn and Oliver coming back together, and we also saw Ra's al Ghul for the first time. So there's just so much that I liked about this episode. So starting off with Nyssa, she was just a great character in this episode. I didn't really enjoy her much in season 2, but now I'm just loving her even more. I especially love the scenes where she had with Laurel. Those are two characters that you think they never get scenes together, but now they would, now that Laurel is trying to achieve this different path than she was back in season 2. So I really loved those scenes. I especially loved the scene when Laurel was training and then Nyssa told her to, rotate your hips. It's where the power comes from. So she was just giving her some advice. And as for Thea, so many people didn't know that Thea was Merlyn's daughter. So, we got that big reveal there. And then just because there's so many secrets and they pretty much revolve around Thea, that's pretty much why I kind of like Thea a lot this episode. Oliver doesn't know that Thea has been living and training with Merlyn for the past 6 months. Thea doesn't know that Oliver is the Arrow, and Thea pretty much doesn't know much about Merlyn himself. She doesn't know much about the League of Assassins. So Merlyn, this episode, I really love seeing the Oliver Merlyn reunion. I especially love the moment when Oliver had first, encountered Merlyn, when he had shot that tracer arrow at him. The smile that Merlyn gave back to Oliver was just amazing. I feel like we're going to see a different Merlyn this season. Malcolm Merlyn in season 1 was pretty much trying to avenge his wife's death, but now Merlyn is pretty much trying to clear his name from the League of Assassins. So we're pretty much going to be seeing the side of Merlyn that we didn't see so much in season 1 of Arrow. This whole episode was titled The Magician, and that's pretty much his full name in the comics, like his super villain code name, Merlyn the Magician. And as for Ra's al Ghul, first time seeing him, Matt Nable, I'm really excited for more scenes of him. And there's pretty much this whole idea that Ra's al Ghul had Sarah killed in this, just because she wasn't technically part of the League. So there could be so many theories there. And then on to the other major plot of this story. Oliver vowed to not kill. He had made that vow, but Nyssa didn't. So he pretty much can't stop Nyssa from killing people. It's just that he needs evidence that Malcolm had killed Sarah. He can't just go around and have a suspicion that Merlyn had killed Sarah and just kill him then. But that's just gonna add on to more blood on his hands if Nyssa kills Merlyn and he never found out the exact truth. But I do think that Merlyn did kill Sarah, and then there's a part of me that Merlyn didn't kill Sarah. So he was telling the truth, but he could have been lying as well. He may have not actually killed Sarah, but he could have hired somebody else to kill Sarah. The only, whole part about this episode that I didn't like was the Laurel aspect. How stabby she was when Oliver had revealed that Malcolm was alive. She really wanted him to kill Malcolm in this episode. And I find that very funny just because she's a defense attorney, and you need evidence before you go off executing people or giving them arrests and stuff like that. But this is her sister, so she doesn't need much evidence. As long as she knows that somebody is well trained in archery and uses black arrows, she pretty much has the suspicion or the confirmation that that is the person who had killed her sister. So now into my top 5 moments, starting with number 5. Nyssa and Laurel say farewell. Like I said before, this is a great scene. We've never really seen these two together, at least much, throughout this whole series. But this is just a really great scene. I can't wait for Nyssa to come back and then she sees Laurel in her black canary suit. That would be really amazing. I would really want to see a Laurel versus Nyssa scene too. Number 4, the flashbacks. So to pretty much clear up the whole plot of the flashbacks that's going on right now, Amanda Waller had Edward Fires pretty much blow up this airplane. Edward Fires thought that he was pretty much destabilizing China's economy, but in reality Amanda Waller wanted a certain person killed, that person being China White, who did appear in present day. So we will be seeing her in the past. Right now she's not dead in the present day, she was arrested back in season 2. Number 3, Oliver versus Nyssa versus Merlyn. So all 3 archers in the entire show that have ever been brought on, with the exception of Komodo, fight in this epic scene, and I just really love the talk at the end. Merlyn trying to finalize his statement before Oliver pretty much kills him. He was pretty much tempted to kill Merlyn at that moment. Number 2, Oliver and Merlyn have unfinished business. So this is when they're in the town square, and this is just a really great dialogue scene. Merlyn had some really great lines. Oliver did as well. John Barrowman was an exceptional actor in this scene. It was just really amazing. I just really love this. It pretty much topped the fight scene that they had, which is why I did put it at number 2 instead of putting this scene in number 3. And my number 1 moment, of course, Ra's al Ghul's appearance. We did see sort of him in a tub, probably bathing in the Lazarus pit, and Arrow did say that, or the Arrow executive producers did say that they are not going to do anything, superpower-y in the sense, because the Flash is doing that, but they could bring in the Lazarus pit. Like, they could have this idea that the Lazarus pit rejuvenates your body and soul. Like, it pretty much gives you this sort of like enhanced ability, not like super strength, but it pretty much just allows you to live longer. Ra's al Ghul could be biologically 90 years old, but physically he could be 50 or 40. So I just really love Ra's al Ghul in this scene. I just can't wait to see him throughout the rest of the season. He is going to be great. And that is it for my review for episode 4 of The Arrow. What did you guys think? Did you like this episode? Leave me your thoughts in comments below. And remember, I'll be doing reviews for all episodes of Arrow this year, so be sure to leave me your comment, or be sure to subscribe to catch them all. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. I do a lot of updates there. Subscribe to my other channel, Jedi for 50, for fandom vids. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.